Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Unlimited, Dassault's Falcon 5X to roll out next month. An emergency AD is issued for certain Avidyne IFDs. The Air Power Museum looks for funding. I'm Bree Cross. It is May 22nd, 2015, and this is Airborne Unlimited. The new Falcon 5X is getting closer to its first flight. As Dassault announced, they are planning a rollout on June 2nd. They say the 5X is expected to make its maiden flight this summer. The number 1 5X was powered up for the first time at the end of August last year, and system and vibration ground testing began last fall. It was joined by the second test aircraft earlier this year. Both aircraft are participating in ground testing, and aircraft number 1 recently completed a second engine run-up cycle. Other factors in the testing program will determine the service life of the aircraft, and Dassault says the 5X development has benefited from the use of their new Falcon scan tool, used for onboard fault diagnosis. They say it has already proven valuable in the ground testing program. An Emergency Airworthiness Directive, AD 2015-10-51, has been issued to owners and operators of all aircraft that incorporate certain Avidyne Corporation integrated flight displays. The AD references to specific part numbers and software releases for the Model R9 10-inch and Model R9 12-inch units. This emergency AD was prompted by reports of Avidyne IFDs displaying incorrect course deviation indication information during GPS approaches. This condition occurs when the airplane is flying in certain approaches, the leg to the final approach fix is active, and the leg to the final approach fix is not aligned with the final approach course. This could result in the pilot making flight decisions that put the aircraft in unsafe flight conditions by flying into airspace that was by the GPS approach design to be avoided. It is imperative that operators with Avidyne IFDs installed refer to the Airworthiness Directive for complete details and applicability. After the break, the Ottawa-based Air Power Museum improves facilities.
The KSN 770 is an affordable, WAAS-enabled integrated MFD with a flexible hybrid user interface from Bendix King. Get your fingers on the 770's perfect blend of touchscreen and hard buttons. Easily control your GPS navigation, NavCom, weather, traffic, and terrain in any condition. For more information, go to bendixking.com.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
AML's patent-pending wireless induction charging system eliminates confusion over those charging cables, cuts down cockpit cable clutter, and allows you and your passengers to fly cordless and eliminate the cable nightmare. www.aviationmodificationleaders.com.
Welcome back. If you would like to be a supporter of Airborne Unlimited, send an email to jim@aero-news.net. The Air Power Museum, known as the APM in Ottawa, Iowa, has launched an online capital campaign in an effort to raise $20,000 for needed infrastructure improvements. On the crowdfunding site, GoFundMe, the APM says that they hope to raise the money and complete at least some of the projects prior to their annual fly-in planned for September 2nd through the 7th. The major infrastructure projects in the works for 2015 include continued replacement of the roofs on the APM hangars. Last year saw a much-needed new roof installed on the APM Fly Market building. This year, the plan is to replace the roof on the north side of the APM display annex. Another much-needed project to be accomplished before the Antique Airplane Association and APM Invitational Fly-In in September is the replacement of the APM main hangar door. Work is also needed to complete the APM Restoration Center. The campaign has raised nearly $8,000 so far. It's Friday, and that means that it is time for ANN CEO and Editor-in-Chief Jim Campbell to check in with his weekly Barnstorming commentary. ANN has huge plans for the future, especially the near future, and we could use your help, lots of it. Care to help ANN reshape the future of aviation media, if not aviation itself? Here's this week's Barnstorming.
Thanks, Brian. Hi, folks. Let's get away from the local politics and all the aviation stuff for a little bit and start talking a little bit about what ANN wants to do now and in the future, and why we could use a little bit of your help. Let's talk first about Oshkosh, barely 60 days away. We have, for over a decade, pushing 2 decades actually, opened up our ranks to 1 or 2 people every year to serve as stringers to help write and photograph and document Oshkosh, because while we see the entire world of aviation en masse, what we don't see is the microcosm. What we don't see is life from the standpoint of a pilot out at the Okefenokee Airport or out in Podunk, Iowa, or whatever the case may be. So bringing in people with their own concerns and their own interests and their own joys and their own triumphs and their own concerns, well, that helps us a lot in figuring out what our coverage needs to do for the future, because, face it, what we do here matters most of all to the just plain flyer, and we're looking for just plain flyers. So if you have some skills in the writing and photographic area, we'd love to talk to you. We're kind of picky about this, but I got to tell you, we've had amazing people working with us in the past. We hope to find even more amazing people in the future. And the Stringer program is one of our most successful things that we've ever done, because it really helps shape ANN for the future. On another level, frankly, we're looking for staff. We're looking very, very aggressively right now for a marketing manager. Thought we had one. Great guy, and unfortunately he had a better offer that popped up after several years of waiting, and, well, I don't blame him for it. The only saving grace of this is he said it was still a tough decision. He saw what ANN was capable of, really wanted to help, but boy, I do understand when your dream job shows up, you got to go for it. But maybe working with ANN is your dream job. We're looking for people with solid marketing, sales, and PR skills. We've got a huge message that we need to focus for the future. We have amazing concepts in the works. The Airborne Partnership Initiative is really taking hold. We've only got about a dozen of our associations in league right now, but there's over 100 more to follow. We're going to start implementing another 20 or 30 in the Oshkosh time frame and another after that. It's an incredible amount of work, and we need help. So above and beyond the marketing aspect, we're going to need people who know how to work social media, who know how to organize, who know how to build bridges between disparate organizations and help us build an aviation media consortium like none the aviation world has ever seen. There's a lot going on here. We have a lot of interesting stuff available, both volunteer as well as paid positions. If you think you have what it takes to help the aviation world find its future and a future that works for us all, join us. I guarantee you it'll be a lot of hard work, a lot of enjoyable work, and you'll be working with what to me so far is the best team in the aviation universe. For the Aero-News Network, Airborne, and Aero-TV, I'm Jim Campbell.
After these messages, Honda says it's ramping up aero engine production.
Sandia introduces the new SAI 340 Quattro TSO'd airspeed, attitude, altitude, and slip. With integral backup battery, safety never looked so good. See it now at www.sandia.aero.
Now certified, Aspen Avionics single-band ADS-B ATX100 and ATX100G transceivers are the next-gen ADS-B solution that provides the features pilots need while keeping flyaway costs low. Check it out now at aspenavionics.com.
Redbird is quickly becoming the industry standard for flight training. Since Redbird introduced its revolutionary FMX in 2007, colleges, universities, and flight training operations around the world have integrated Redbird products into their curriculum. It's time to discover what Redbird can do for you. Join the migration.
Welcome back. With so much news coming out of the aviation industry, we're summarizing some other interesting stories in a brief segment we call Around the Patch. GE Honda Aero Engines says that all elements are in place to support a successful entry into service in 2015. Honda's Burlington, North Carolina site is ramping up to produce approximately 100 engines in 2015 to meet customer demands. DAR has announced the delivery of a new TBM 900 to a Mexican operator, becoming the first Mexican-registered TBM aircraft. The aircraft went to a business charter operator based in Monterrey, Mexico. Embraer Executive Jets has announced that its Legacy 500 midsize business jet has already set 4 new world speed records for its class. The figures will be sent to the FAI in Switzerland for recognition as world records. Boeing Business Jets has announced that split scimitar winglets are now standard on new BBJs. The split scimitar winglets will also be offered for retrofit on in-service BBJs. Boeing says the winglets increase range by up to 2.2%. Textron's Beechcraft Corporation announced that Wheels Up has exercised its option to purchase the next 35 King Air 350i turboprops from its initial order placed in 2013. The additional aircraft will help expand the membership-based private aviation company's fleet. Well, that's it for today's trip around the patch. Now let's move on to the rest of the news. Join the ladies of Ladies Love Taildraggers for their 6th annual fly-in May 29th through the 31st. This year, they will be converging on the Sulphur Springs Texas Airport for a fun taildraggin 4-day weekend. True to their name, they will be celebrating aircraft with a tiny wheel on the back and the ladies who fly them. All women pilots, nose wheel and tail wheel are invited. The group was started 6 short years ago by Judy Birchler of Indianapolis, Indiana, with the purpose of meeting and connecting other like-minded ladies who love to fly conventionally geared airplanes, otherwise known as taildraggers. Birchler says, quote, "I've always been passionate about flying taildraggers, but I just couldn't seem to find other ladies in my area who felt like I did," end quote. That issue seems to be resolved as the online aviation community has grown to over 500 members based around the world. The mission statement of Ladies Love Taildraggers isn't complicated and is read as follows, quote, "To encourage women everywhere to have fun flying taildraggers," end quote. Well, that's our program for today. Remember to get comprehensive, real-time, 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories anytime at aero-news.net. Remember that Airborne Unlimited is streamed daily Monday through Friday, with additional breaking news bulletins for important stories that fall outside of our normal deadlines. Please join us and a growing roster of over 100 outstanding industry associations and organizations every weekday for the best in aviation and aerospace news from the staff of the Aero-News Network, the aviation world's most comprehensive news and information resource.